My name is Salma Sabrina, and this video proposed to fulfill the speaking assignment of debate speech. So the motion is the House regret the glorification of online learning during pandemic. So as the pandemic continues to develop in unpredictable patterns, the education institutions around the world have taken appropriate measures to mitigate its effect in their specific context. COVID-19 has resulted in schools shut all across the world. Globally, over 1.2 billion students are out of the classroom. As a result, education has changed dramatically with the distinctive rise of e-learning, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely on digital platforms. While countries at different points in their COVID-19 infection rates, worldwide there are currently more than 1.2 billion students in 186 countries affected by school closures due to the pandemic. However, students continue their education through online learning and via virtual conference with their teacher. The model is currently the best alternative as keeping school open but also poses a safety risk for the students. Globally, many countries have adopted this approach, but along its practice, there are some flaws that make this method should be refused. On March, Educational Ministry of Indonesia announced that all schools were to be closed. However, many schools were not ready to apply home learning programs yet. The online classes implemented in Indonesia work differently from the other countries that more ready for the case. This is due to the lack of preparation in this country. So, as the online learning program ran, we could see some flaws along the practice. Survey says the student participating in the home learning program feels online school was confusing to adjust to as they had not been prepared to simulations or practices beforehand. There are some negative impact of the flaws that is a problem of. So the first is the threat of increasing number of dropping out of school, especially those who are still in the smaller grades such as elementary school and junior high school. For those students who come from a family under poverty, they found the online learning is very ineffective and confusing. Thus, they found they has limited access to the online learning sources as they lacking some facilities. Based on this problem, many of them will think that it would be better for them to help their parents to work rather than continue in school as they found that they couldn't balancing those students who come from the adequate family who get to the facilities like more. And the second is self-discipline. By doing online learning, teachers couldn't see the students' pace in studying. All they do is giving lots assignment as they hoping the students would keep trained, but in reality, this method isn't effective at all. Many of the students got into self-discipline issue. And then there's the decreased learning outcomes, the perception of decreased learning achievement and discrepancy. So as you could see from the previous problem, online learning doesn't give out good learning outcomes. There is a quality gap between those students who are educated, having access to technology, and those who aren't. This problem could lead to a risk of having a generation with a learning loss. And then there is the decrease of students' mental health. During this pandemic, many of students suffering depression and anxiety due to the online classes. Students found that online learning gives them a lot of tasks compared to offline classes. Many of them couldn't sleep soundly due to the shadowed by the assignment deadlines. If this problem isn't solved, student mental health will reach its peaks of depression. Students could first by this mental health could be affected to their losing focus during online learning. There could be affected to critical thinking and adaptability. There's also the lack of social interaction among students, which is normally would have occurred between tutorials. So here are my suggestions or some advice of another learning method that will suit current situation. So the first is the generalization of education facilities. We could see that schools in New York, the United States, prepared for online learning by distributing gadgets to their students, ensuring they had access to learning materials. As of early April, education authorities distributed around 500,000 laptops and tablets to their students, allowing them to participate in classes online. Our government maybe should see from what the other country were more prepared to do, and there's also the server of the educational web or applications should be more stabilized too, and the government should fix the internet connection. Also, there should be a mental health consultation at least once a week. Maybe try to continue session for a few minutes after the class and give them some time for clearing doubts and discussion, because sharing some thoughts with others could help relieve stress and could help them bonding with their classmates. Giving support and saying to each other, and we observed that interaction improved over time and students were more comfortable with teleteaching. And maybe we should do a hybrid learning. New hybrid model of education will emerge with significant benefits. So that's all from me. Thank you.